Hey everybody, we are live. It has been a while. Sorry everybody. I know we haven't done a lot of live streams over the the last one was last year for D23, but we haven't really done lot of live streams. We're going to be bringing those back. We have a new platforms and new things coming up starting this Friday. So get ready. We're going to be doing a lot of live streams. So it's going to be a lot of fun. But Today, we're dedicating a whole live stream show to talk about Universal Fan Fest nights, which myself and Claudia have both seen.
Mhm.
We just didn't want to do it like the week of because we want people to go out and see it for themselves and didn't want to spoil everything. It's been 2 weeks already. I think we're good to talk about everything we need to talk about. So where's the nameplates on this? Sorry, I'm still getting used to this programming because StreamYard has changed a lot of stuff since last year.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, exactly. I can't even find how you put up the banners anymore. But as I'm doing this and I'm trying to get back into the swing of things of doing a live stream, uh, Universal Fan Fest nights are going on now every weekend up till next week. Next weekend is the last weekend that this will be going on, and then it's bye bye to next year. And it's kind of sad because it's going to be, I wish it was longer because this is probably the best Universal event and the most creative Universal event they've ever put together. What are your thoughts, Claudia?
Honestly, I came in to this event, I think just with not really big expectations because honestly, like if you take it back to even the marketing for the event,
Mhm.
we didn't know what was going on. First, if an average fan was looking at this, would say, "Oh, well, this night is dedicated to this fandom, and this night is dedicated to that fandom," but that was not set clear until you actually got there. Um, But honestly, I have to admit, it was really cool to see people actually show up and cosplay and like treat it, um, I guess you could say like a mini con in a sense. It was very fun. I did enjoy that the park actually made some effort. Like from the time you got in, there was already signage and things out there to like let you know, yeah, today's the night and this is what you're gonna do. Um, so far, I mean, I had a blast. I don't know how much fun you had.
Oh, I had a lot of fun. I mean, yes, I was working that day and I was shooting a lot of stuff for the show, but I was like being somebody. I'm going to be honest with everybody. I used to work at Universal Studios back when I was in college. I don't have any bias, but I've seen a lot of things happen at that park throughout the years since I worked there, and even when I was a kid. And this was so much fun. From from right when you enter the park to when you leave, you're having a good time.
Mhm.
And it was something that was so different and so creative to what they do. Like it was just
Yeah.
really fun, really fun.
Well, first of all, how about we just talk about like actually what was it? Because
Yeah.
honestly, that's the big mystery. A lot of people had like, what is this? Like, what exactly was it? If you can want to just give synopsis of what it was.
Mhm. Well, pretty much what the FanFest event night is the fact that I know they showed individual pictures of different things that they were doing, and they showed one collective photo. Pretty much, it's all those fandoms in one night. So you're getting Star Trek, Dungeons and Dragons, One Piece, Harry Potter, Wicked, and a couple others that slipped my mind because they're anime and I've never followed anime before, but I found it interesting
Mhm.
with that being added in. And it was so like it was. I thought it was each night was going to be an individual type of day, a day
Mhm.
dedicated just to that fandom, and it wasn't. You really went in and experienced everything, and for a first year event, blew my mind. Blew my mind completely. Oh, also Super Nintendo World. I forgot because Yoshi's. They had a couple Yoshis there too. But it
Yeah,
was
like,
a great event, great night.
absolutely. Like, honestly, when we walked in, like, again, didn't really know how the day was gonna go. Um, I enjoyed how many people just like just showed up dressed up, and it was just really cool. Like especially like you guys don't know, I'm like I love Star Trek, so this is kind of like I was walking in going, should I even dress up and like Trek and like trekking? I'm like, we're not gonna do that. I'm just gonna walk in and see how it goes. And I was so surprised to see just people just really like decked out on their different cosplays. It was really fun. Um, I think that well, let's see. Where did you start in it? Because I have to say, I'm always going to say great things about the Star Trek experience. Because what I loved about it was that we had the set for Picard. You can actually walk on the set for Picard. If you haven't seen it, you have to see the show. It's fantastic. And I don't know, it blew me away. I think that's I didn't geek out as hard as I thought I would imagine till I had one of the Volcons say "Live long and prosper," and I was like, "Oh shoot, gotta go."
I guess that's a good way to start because we had a different way of starting
Mhm.
than everybody else. We got in through the back and had a special escort because we were filming, and yes, we were that special. Um, and we got a special escort to go in, and I was gonna actually play a video of the Star Trek maze, but it looks like we're having issues with it because it's filming 4K HDR, and I guess it doesn't like 4K HDR. So we're gonna be talking about it. So let's start with the Star Trek one because I think it's the best place to start because we went through the back, we didn't see it the way normal people would go in through the front entrance. But Star Trek Red Zone is the name of it, and it's about you're you're going through the ship. It's a red alert. They're transferring through the different halls of the Enterprise, and at the end you get the special experience of the ta-da of the reason why there's a red alert or red zone. Uh,
Right. Without giving much away, essentially um you are visiting um you're visiting which ship was it?
the Enterprise
It was
D
Enterprise D. You're gonna go visit
from Star Trek: The Next Generation / Picard.
Picard. Well, essentially you're walking in and you're gonna go visit a museum that's on board. Um and all is dandy. You're gonna get like a tour and then of course red alert and you go through the storyline, what have you. What I thought made this really unique was one that just the makeup, like the FX makeup with each character from Vulcan to Klingon to just every actor and how involved they were. And it was not just like going through the storyline, it was also them interacting with you
Mhm.
and bringing you into the story. And you just felt like the urgency in the actual experience. Um, honestly, it's hard to say a lot without spoiling it.
Well, I think we could spoil it now.
Yeah, I guess you can.
I mean,
So,
everything. Let's be honest. Before this event even opened to the public, there was a bunch of video already out there.
oh, absolutely, because I
So,
mean, it never embargo means what?
well, yeah, the only people that have to follow embargoes is us.
Yeah.
But but let's. But here's the thing: it's like there was a lot of footage out there, so I think we're not. And this is the reason why we waited till halfway through the event to
Mhm.
really talk about it because there's a lot to see and do, and a lot of if you're a fan of any of these fandoms, you're gonna pick up something. So continue with the Star Trek discussion.
Sorry, like you're basically there's a nominee. You get rushed through from there to sick bay to where do you go?
Sick bay, you go to engineering,
Engineering,
you then go
turbo
into
lift,
the turbo lift, and then you go into
into the bridge,
the bridge from Picard.
and the yeah bridge, and basically essentially the whole red alert was making first contact. So
Mhm.
you were part of the crew you were on a decommissioned ship who basically made first contact, which is all you ever want for
Yeah.
Star Trek. So that's pretty cool.
Mhm.
Honestly, like I did it twice, and each time, even though the storyline didn't really move, like change or whatever, which I would hope that if they were to do it next time, maybe to have two different storylines
Mhm.
to experience. But I can understand that possibly it was just kind of figuring out how this fits in. But it was fun. It was cool to see different parts of this, like notice little things where you're actually able to go up to things and look at screens and see how it actually looks up close.
Mhm.
Especially, I'm like, it was really cool. Like I thoroughly loved that one.
Hmm. Well, and that's the thing. Like, uh, there's a couple things I wish they would have done just a little bit
Mm.
better. One is when you get to the shuttle.
Mm,
When you walk,
I
like
agree.
when you're going into the line, they hold you outside of the transport shuttle, and you're watching a video, which is fine. Every theme park does it.
Hmm.
But when you go into the shuttle, it wasn't like you got either they could have held you in the shuttle
Hmm.
and make it seem like you're transporting from Universal Studios to the Enterprise, and then open the doors and you're in the shuttle bay.
Right.
That would have been cool, and that would have been gave it a different experience. Instead, you're walking right through the shuttle and coming out, and all you're seeing is like you're just going through warp
Right.
or warp speed going to the shuttle, which kind of like
Yeah, it didn't set up like the story really didn't start until you actually gone onto the where
the
was
shuttle
it?
bay.
Not no, yeah, I
Well,
guess you could
because
say same
that's
thing.
where you had the explanation. You're looking through into space, and you see the Kirk's Enterprise being held because you're at the Starfleet Museum where they park a lot of the ships that were decommissioned.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I would have to agree. Yeah, if they could work in a way where it feels like you're right away immersed once you step into the building, like into the ship or the building or whatever they may call it, I
Mhm.
think it would work out a lot better.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that as soon as the doors open and you go into the next room,
Mhm.
is it bad that I was kind of like thinking of Airplane when Captain Kirk says, shh, shh, because you actually have the sound of the doors opening. But
Yeah.
that's just me, and I'm being very nostalgic and showing my age. But going through once the doors open and you finish that intro,
Hmm.
go into sick bay. It looked like a smaller version of what a sick bay would look like on the set,
Right.
which was really cool. And the alien that they had there when I went in, it was an alien. It was a blue
Mm.
alien, and I forgot what the alien
Andorian?
was called. What?
You had an Andorian?
Yes, I think so.
See, I
Blue.
had a Vulcan and a Cleon.
Yeah. So I didn't have that one. I had the Klingon on the second room in engineering.
Mm.
So it looked really cool. They were looking for. There's a red alert. They're scanning with their tricorder or medical tricorder where this thing is. They can't find it, and then they push you through to the next room, and you're in engineering,
Mhm.
which you're right by the warp core, which is even crazier.
I think I probably geeked out a little bit about that because you're like, oh shoot, but it's the Warp Tour. Warp Core.
Exactly, and they did it in a way with using special effects. After when the warp core was heating up, you start
Hmm.
seeing explosions. And then they
Hmm.
had a nice fog machine that came out, and it made it look like it was heating up and about to go critical.
Right. Hmm.
And that was pretty cool. And they were actually had the pads trying to figure out the thing, figure out what was making it go wrong, touching the buttons just like in any Star Trek movie that you see. It really sold it to me.
Yes. Hmm.
Sold it to me. And then you go into the turbo lift. This is where I had a little issue with the turbo lift.
Okay.
And I think they could have put some type of rumbling thing underneath the or some type of speaker to make it rumble.
Okay.
When there's an issue, you kind of felt like you were moving. I
Okay.
know it's probably would have cost a lot of money to probably do, or even to give some type of effect like something's going on, or you get a little trouble because the actor who was trying to do the best job he possibly can was
Hmm.
moving like if the ship was getting hit.
He's like jumping, bumping up.
Yeah, bumping around while everybody's just standing still, like with their phone. So it kind of killed it a little bit, but I loved it. I mean, it was cool still. And the coolest part is when they open up the doors and you're in the actual and trust me, this is the actual set that they used on Picard that you're
Hmm.
walking on. And when you walk in there, your first reaction is like, "Damn, this thing is small," but it
Yes.
looks so big on screen when they're filming it,
Hmm.
but it's small.
But you can see how why like it gives off that perception because of the it's just a forced perspective
Yeah,
from the
yeah.
camera.
And the camera's not. You never see a shot of the screen in front. You
Right.
always see them from the chair's back,
Right.
so you don't really. It kind of throws you off a little bit coming in because
Hmm.
of that. But it was like the coolest thing. Like if they would have taken out, they have rails on the side so you don't come in to where
Right.
the actors are, which kind of killed it a little bit.
Yeah, but I
I
understand.
understand it. Yeah, I understand it. But it was cool either way. Like it was just awesome to see.
Yeah, and did you notice the photo op near the Ferengi? Was it the Ferengi? But near Waterworld, there was a photo op.
Oh yeah, the captain's chair.
The captain's chair, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I did see that. I didn't take a picture of there.
Uh, I did.
I wanted to, and just because, and send it to my friend Santiago because he was the captain in Picard, who first Latino captain to say "dale" to engage.
Hmm.
And I talked to him about this, about how monumental it was for Santiago Cabrera to be on Picard and to take the captain's chair and do something different with just saying engage,
Hmm.
saying "dale."
Hmm.
And I wanted to take a picture there and send it to him, but then I was kind of like, well, maybe I don't want to fanboy myself too much. I've already fanboyed too much already, covering Picard and all the Star Trek films over the years. But it was an experience that was just amazing to me.
Yeah.
The only thing, like, but I understand also too why it was the way it was. Where
Hmm.
the Star Trek Red Zone is where last year for Halloween Horror Nights was a quiet,
Mm. Okay.
and I could see why, because they're during this time they're working on Halloween Horror Nights for this year,
Yeah, they
and
are.
they're working on it. It's going to be a pretty fast turnaround because Horror Nights, I believe, is going to start the first week of September, and the way the year is going, it's going to be here before we know it.
Right, right.
So I could see why they kind of truncated like this maze and any maze where they have had
Hmm.
or experience, I should say, because it's not really a maze,
Right.
why it is the way it is and
Hmm.
why it's built the way it is.
I could see that, but honestly, it's kind of like I feel it's there's opportunity there, but just how they can, I guess, plan it out next year if they
Mhm,
have it next year.
mhm.
Uh, anyways, let's go ahead and move on to Dungeons and Dragons: Secrets of the Water Deep.
Yes, and before we start off with that and you can go into that, if you have any questions, comments, you want to join in, please do. I don't think we have our member. If you have any questions, somebody's watching while we're doing this. Yeah, we don't. I don't think I have the members only option right now, so you should be able to access the comments and be able to comment on this video. So if you want to comment, please do. If you're having an issue commenting, want to put in your opinions on what you saw, if you've gone to it yet, please do, and we will answer those comments appropriately.
All right, so let's.
Claudia,
Huh?
continue.
All right, so talking about Dungeons and Dragons: Secrets of the Water Deep. So the synopsis is: get your dice ready, adventurers, as your favorite class of world greatest role-playing game becomes a reality. Enter Waterdeep, an immersive walkthrough experience. Meet in a tavern and shop the theme merchandise. Okay, whatever. Uh, join fellow Harpers on a Dungeons and Dragons quest to save Waterdeep from the clutches of notorious beholder Xandor the Beholder. In the world action-packed Dungeons and Dragons: Secrets of the War Deep. I know little about Dungeons and Dragons. I do not know much.
Well, you're looking at the wrong person because I'm the same here.
I'm like, I know you can play it on a board game, and I know you can play it on online, but that's the just of what I know about it. But despite that, as someone going into this, not knowing what we're going into, I have to say that it was actually pretty interesting to have two different actors take two different groups to do the experience.
Hmm.
Um, Again, this is actually the one where they have a big puppet. What was
Yeah,
the puppet? What was the puppet's name? What was it? The creature?
I don't know, but it was a
Oh,
big
it's Behold. It's Xander the Beholder.
yeah. There you go.
Yeah, he was. I think what it was a great experience. And everything like I think the group I was with weren't really into it,
Hmm.
so it's kind of like you know actors do what they can do to get the group involved. But honestly, like I had no idea what was going on.
Well, that's the same thing with me. Like even though this high school that I went to, Dungeons and Dragons was pretty much a full fledged sport over there.
Hmm.
And I just had no interest. I already had a bunch of fandoms. It was already bad enough that I was a nerd. I didn't want to go to that extra level of nerddom.
Hmm.
But I didn't understand it, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was a great experience, a great walkthrough experience as well, especially when the doors opened up and then
Hmm.
all the artillery and stuff was on the shelves as you walked in. When it would look like a solid room, and using that Pepper's ghost effect on it, it was kind of cool.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
The second scene that where the elf is, I think it's an elf maiden owns a shop.
Yeah.
That was cool when I was on the right hand side, closer to her. It gave it a different experience. It made you feel you're a part of it because on the left side, if you go to the left side, you're separated with something in the middle that separates the two groups, and you feel kind of far away.
Hmm.
So it kind of leaves, if you're on the left side, it kind of leaves you out of the experience. On the right side, keeps you in that room in the experience. So they need to do something where it's interactive, where the people can walk freely, so it feels like both sides are a part of the environment. I don't know if you were on the left side or the right side when you experienced it.
I was on the right hand side, and I didn't understand like the barriers in between.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't understand that because on one time and like in some instances in some certain rooms you were limited to what was going on in the other side of the room, or vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of lost in the storyline to begin with. I didn't like I explained I didn't know what was going on to begin with, but you weren't able to follow the story very well. But what I did see was actually pretty cool. Um, the sets were wonderful. It was like just little nods to things. And I'm sure if you're really into the fandom, it'd be an amazing tribute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I agree with you on that because it was cool because as you went past that room, it wasn't as divided. It was more like everything was in the center of you,
Hmm.
which was pretty cool. And where that big what's it called again? The big thing with the eyes and shoot.
Uh, what is it called?
Because I didn't know, but I thought it was really
Xanathar?
cool. Which one?
Xanathar?
Yeah,
Xanathar? Yeah.
that was cool. Like that, I was really impressed when we went into that room and it came out and it became alive. I was just like, I don't know what that is, but it looks really cool and it moved very well.
Yeah. That was, and I heard from like that because I went the second night and people were raving about that. They said, wow, that's a really great, like, um, was it a puppet? I mean, it was huge.
I
Like,
don't know if it was a puppet or an animatronic. I'm thinking it was a puppet.
I want to see it's a puppet too, because it flowed very well.
Hmm.
It just popped out of nowhere. The funny thing is that he's supposed to be like the villain, but you like walk past him, he's still out. And I'm just like,
Yeah, it was. It was kind of, and it was still moving.
yeah, it's still moving, doing its thing, and you're just like,
Yeah, it was kind of cool and freaky at the same time. But when you go to the final room, it was a nice conclusion too, a great way
Mhm.
to end it, and it felt very immersive. And I think that's the thing that I like. It was very immersive to what it was.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because I was like, it was so this particular experience was actually right next to
It
was
was
it it's in the lower lot.
yeah, it was behind Transformers the ride
Hmm.
where the queue was. The actual experience was in if you've been to if you've been to Halloween Horror Nights last year, it was a weekend maze. The year before that, they've had Stranger Things in there as well. In that soundstage is where they have the Dungeons and Dragons Waterdeep experience, and that's where it's at. It's a good it's a good use of the facility when it's not being
Yeah,
used.
absolutely. Okay, what's another one? Do we want to do, well, One Piece? That was just that was a meet and greet.
Yeah, that let's just gather all the meet and greets and the anime stuff together because One Piece was a meet and greet. That other one was a show inside the where the DreamWorks Theater where they have Panda Express, not
Was it
Panda
Jutsu? I'm
Panda. Panda Express is the restaurant downstairs. Kung Fu Panda.
no,
Nobody
the
goes in there anymore, so it was something for people to go into that theater that they redid.
yeah, the it was Jutsu Kaisen. Is that what it's
Yes,
called? Jutsu
that's it.
Kaisen? Yeah, that one. Those get basically made to it. So One Piece meet and greet, you got to meet with characters, which I saw a lot of fans, a lot of fans dressed up as many of the protagonists. That was fun. They came out here and there and did a meet and greet, pictures, photo ops. It was great. I mean, great. It looked good. Just kind of what I heard. Well, you went through it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, because I didn't.
Hmm. I went through it. It was pretty much like the One Piece thing was a nice meeting, great, cool. And then I went into the theater, and it was okay. It's like you're sitting down watching a movie, and it had the 3D effect with the chairs. So that's what it was. It was kind of like okay, it was okay.
Yeah, because I hear wasn't this brought over from Universal Japan?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
and what it was at Universal Japan, I don't know. I don't know if it was a different experience. I don't know anything, but yeah.
yeah, because I heard what was I had actually one someone in my group actually went through that experience. They said it was funny because it had they didn't change it around so it had reference to Universal Hollywood. It said Universal Studios Japan. It
Yeah.
was that was never changed in
Mhm.
in the experience, which I was like, okay, but if you're gonna bring experience from abroad, like at least streamline it to the park it's going to.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all. I mean, but there's not a lot to say about those. I
Mm-mm.
mean, same with the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. We did
Mhm.
have a few Fantastic Beasts out.
Yep.
We had a Niffler,
Mhm.
and what was the other one?
That dragon
Yeah.
thing,
Oh
that the guy,
gosh.
which was kind of a very cool little piece, with it wrapping around the person who was carrying it. That was kind
Yes,
of cool.
that was
That-
really cool. I actually, the video on the Instagram account is actually I happened to catch it. Uh, Ox- alchemy,
yes,
alchemy. Yeah,
Akame.
alchemy. So I would happen to see it, and it was like I love the way that that was puppeteered. Like it was over him, over his shoulder, and it was wrapped in his around his leg, and you couldn't see like where he was puppeteering from, but it was and if there was a third person, I don't know where they were, but it
Yeah.
was like really cool, and it was very flowy.
Hmm.
I think if they had mentioned that there'd be different like um like characters out there that'd been great because I think they didn't do much there. It was just that they had a special little fireworks show, like a show on the castle, and that was it. But there was like not much done at the Harry Potter section.
Hmm. Yeah. Oh, and we got a comment. Epic Universe doesn't have Kung Fu Panda. No, it does not. And
No, it doesn't.
glad it doesn't have Kung Fu Panda. Uh, well, we may mention Epic Universe at the end of this video because there's something I have and a inkling that they're gonna do in Florida, kind of based off of this. But we'll continue with that. But yeah, I mean, the Harry Potter section was just the regular thing.
Regular smuggler. It was. I mean, you got to go on a forbidden journey with no line.
No line.
Yeah.
But also too, I don't think they are. I don't know how much they're able to do with the land and the property and what the contracts are like here in the United States. I know in Japan they've done some amazing stuff with the Harry Potter version that they have in Japan. With in Halloween having the Death Eaters fly over you. They have different fantastic beasts from the movies. They've done a lot of different things that we haven't seen here in the US parks.
Right, but also in the Japanese park, they also do like the horror, all the horror things like all day long. So basically, like when you go to the Japanese park, you can do the dayside stuff, regular day stuff, and the horror night stuff in the same day because it's happening all day long. So you can do both things.
Yeah,
so,
which I'm kind of curious of what that would be like here in the US. People would, if they would like that or not.
That's a good question. I don't know.
I think Orlando could probably pull it off because a lot of their mazes are inside like buildings that they make up for horror nights. Here on the other side, there's some mazes that are outdoors and the light does bleed through and you could tell there's still sunlight while you're walking the mazes because here there's still sunlight during Halloween Horror Nights when they open for about 30 minutes, 40 minutes before it goes dark, and you could see light coming through.
All right, what's the next piece? Oh, they did Super Nintendo World. So I didn't get a chance to do that. Did you get a chance to do that?
Yes, I did. I saw Yoshi come out, and that was really cool. It had a long line.
Really?
Long line, yeah. But then I found out that the way you meet Yoshi is that they gave you go down, you get a headband, and you have to find Yoshi's eggs around Super Nintendo Land. And there's somebody giving you stickers. You collect the stickers for your headband, and then you're able to get in line to meet Yoshi.
That's kind of fun, actually. That they made you work, but hey, that's kind of fun.
But it also got you to circulate around the land and see. And I saw they had a pink Yoshi, a green Yoshi, a purple, no, pink, green, and yellow. I think there was a yellow Yoshi.
Okay.
So they had different Yoshis around there, which was really cool. It's something different. It made that land a little more interactive because ever since they built the land, it just seems kind of there's only so much you could do, and I realized they only had so much land to build Super Nintendo World in. So at least something like this gave a little bit, at least one extra breath of new life. What you could do. So that was fun for me, at least seeing that addition.
That's good to know, actually. All right, so we did well, the big thing that I think if anybody wanted to go to was the Back to the Future experience, which I gotta admit, they did a good job.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. That was definitely a really fun time with the Back to the Future experience.
Honestly, like, so basically you're going to, it's Back to the Future, the first one. So the tram from the point you get on the tram, because you're actually taking the tram to the back lot, you get a little spoilers about you're going back in time, back to the events of the first movie.
Hill Valley of 1954, 52. I think it's 52.
I feel like that's wrong.
Yeah, or 55.
I'm like, I feel that's wrong.
It is in the 50s, but I don't remember when they went back. Oh, 1955. Yeah, it is in 1955.
It is 1955. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So you get in, you get dropped off. It's really set up. When you're on the tram, you get a spiel from the dog talking about you're gonna go observe the events that's happening, what have you. You get dropped off in Hill Valley. You
Mhm.
get the first photo op with the big sign. That's like a new upcoming community. There's another second photo op where you could take your picture with the lion gates.
Mhm.
I did not get a chance to do that because I was just way too swarmed. And then you got to go into the actual courthouse square. What I think was cool about it is that, well, when you're in the courthouse square, you get to take a bunch of pictures,
Mhm.
but you can actually had a chance to stay there as long as you wanted, and you can catch the story playing out right in front of you, and also interact with all the characters.
Mhm.
Um, I know someone in my group was Strickland gave him detention twice,
Mhm.
which was really funny. We talked to Lorraine. I didn't get a chance to talk to Marty or the doc,
Yeah.
but it was really cool. I actually uh, we got a picture with Einstein, got in front of the courthouse. I'm like saying what I'm like. What did you experience?
Well, I was able to see George McFly getting bullied by Biff,
Oh, okay.
other guy, and putting kick me on the back of his back,
hmm
and him doing the George McFly, I think just playing it, thinking that they're all just being friendly and stuff like that.
hmm
Doesn't realize that he's really being bullied. Uh, and then we interacting with people and talking to people, like, and people were telling him like, "Oh, are you gonna go to the dance?" Well, and he would play it off like, "No, I don't know." And then he'll look,
Yeah.
Lorraine would pass by and he'll be looking at Lorraine and still talking, and Luke kind of like lose train of thought, like George
Yes,
McFly did in the movie, and that was really cool. Like Biff, Biff didn't really look like Biff,
but
looked too skinny for
he was
Biff,
a good Biff.
but he was a good Biff.
He was a good Biff.
Yeah, he was a good Biff, and it was good enough because you're not going to get the original actor and the way he looked. Good
Well,
enough.
yeah.
Doc Brown was really good and interacted with it. Had a diagram of the flux capacitor with him, showing it to people, to explain it. Even there was people with their phones up,
hmm
and he was questioning what that was
hmm
because you're in 1955, and he's questioning what kind of technology is that,
Yeah.
which is kind of, and asking you if you're from the future, which was very, very cool.
Yeah. I we actually watched. We went to the dance and watched that. It was really fun because it's cool to see when you know the part in the movie where there's the picture and Marty's siblings are fading away and he's about to fade away.
Mhm.
So he like goes down and then like his parents get together. He's alive again. He reanimates, what have you. That was really cool. And then of course it was cool to see the different bands there was playing each time. So they reenacted the was it the four or five major scenes?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. And then of course you get to see Einstein.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and Goldie Wilson was there,
Goldie Wilson, yeah.
and he's teaching everybody how to dance when they're playing under at the
Yep.
Enchanted Under the Sea dance, and he's showing some of the moves of the time in his server outfit from the diner. It was really cool. The one thing I missed though, like some of the sets from that time when they filmed are gone.
Right.
They had the two flames, like the DeLorean went out of time, spinning with the license plate on the ground. But like the movie theater that was on the end is no longer there. It's a sound stage now. But they painted in what that movie theater was, and it just didn't. It wasn't the same.
No.
And
Mm-mm.
where the diner is, they had to transform it into a gas station, and it's been that location a gas station for a long time. It's a majority of the sets that they use are still there.
hmm
Of course, it's not as much of a working studio as it was, but back after Back to the Future was done, there was a lot of things shot there over the years. So it's not exactly 100% to what it looked like, but
hmm
it's very close to what it looked like. At least the courthouse and some of the surrounding areas are still. But they did a good job for what was there. to
Hmm.
really recreate that 1955 looking set of Back to the Future.
Yeah, absolutely. They did, a phenomenal job. I think one thing that I did find, I felt that everything was just, some things were too cluttered.
Hmm.
For example, you had the DeLorean with Einstein, and then there's like a fair behind it,
Hmm.
and it was like it was tucked into corners. Like, why didn't they just? They could have moved that to like the gas station
Yeah.
or what have you, somewhere else. And the thing is that you couldn't hear the actors.
Hmm.
And I really wish that if they were like focusing on a specific scene, that they were mic'd up. So
Hmm.
like you as a crowd could like, oh, they're over there. Let me go follow them and to hear what they have to say and also talk to them.
Yeah.
But most of the time there was spent like trying to find each character and see what point of the story they're at.
Hmm.
So that was a little hard, but
Hmm.
it's okay. I think really it would have been in best interest to have maybe like other more actors, like background actors,
Hmm.
to kind of add to the ambience,
Yeah.
to be like, oh, we're whatever students at a high school, what have you, but something else out of it. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was a great, for the first time the execution was wonderful, but it does have room for improvement.
Yes, I agree. I agree completely. It does need something different than what it is, to change it up and make it kind of work a little bit. Because I noticed where the straightaway is,
Hmm.
where the DeLorean would go straight down and then go Back to the Future. That area was a little,
It was dead.
yeah, it was really dead, and everything was on the side from the middle of the courthouse to your. If you're looking at the courthouse, middle of the courthouse to your right was packed, and everything was
Yes.
done over there. Anything to the left was there was no interactive actors, no sets, no nothing other than the car with the current mayor at the time and what was going on.
Right. Like I feel like that kind of opportunity. I mean, even towards the end, where the DeLorean goes back in time, they did scenes from the movie and projected onto the courthouse.
Hmm.
And I feel they could have actually done something like actually done the car actually like speeding out
Hmm.
and like at least showed the car pulling like speeding out and then switch to the projection. That thing would have made it a little bit more exciting
Hmm.
and just give them a quick reset.
Yeah, yeah, and I agree
I,
with you completely.
yeah, something like that. But I mean, I hear that what I've heard in the VIP experience, if you're doing the VIP tour, you were able to do a photo op with the big um, speaker, the big speaker.
Oh, you can.
Yeah,
Oh,
apparently that was part of their experience.
yeah. Well, they did pay over 100 and something bucks to get it, so
It's like three something to do the
yeah,
VIP experience. Yeah,
yeah.
but I
But
mean, it was cool. I mean, honestly, like when you're there, like what can you say? It's like you're in the first of all, you're in the back lot. You're in the place where they filmed it. I'm like, there's so many other people who are like super excited to be there. They're dressed up as Marty or whoever. It was fun.
yeah, exactly. It was really fun. The one thing, the one problem I did have though, when you get back on the tram to go back to the main area of the park,
Hmm.
they do take you the long way around to
Yeah.
get back. And that was the one thing I was kind of having a little issue with, was that it eats up a lot of time for you to explore the rest of the park.
Hmm.
So it does, they need to go maybe take a shorter route back,
Yeah.
and I think that would help it flow a little bit better. But yeah, they needed something that to shorten that, because that's a good 15 minutes to get from the Hill Valley set, going around by the lake, going through by Jaws, going by the houses, going up the road,
And
and then
around.
you're coming up that one road where you're by the now gone Fast and Furious Supercharged.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like that was the thing that was kind of like, Like I wish there was more time so you could walk by and actually see things.
Yeah, I think they could. What I think the only what I, in my opinion, what they lack is just adding more to that experience. I mean, it was great, but you can tell like they're trying to do as much as they could
Hmm.
and trying to test their waters to see what else to add. I mean, but overall, I see many people who have gone through it. They've said they've enjoyed it, they loved it, especially for those who really enjoyed that IP. They're like blown away.
Yeah, and I think for a lot of this, I don't think to me when I was walking in and when I was going in, I don't think they knew that it would be as popular as it wound up becoming after the first night, and
Mm,
how it bled over to the second weekend.
hmm
Because you see a lot of things, and we're going to talk about some of the things that were big, the big pet peeves for Universal Fan Fest night, which
hmm
wasn't any of the mazes, any of the experiences, anything like that. But you could tell that they weren't ready for that amount of people to show up
hmm
for something like this.
hmm
And not to knock Disneyland with their events, but I honestly think this was better than what Disneyland does with Star Wars nights and their Valentine's Day nights and stuff like that, with more interaction, more experiences that put you in the middle of things. It just made you, and the people were into it and joining in on those experiences.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I mean, I've been to a few Disney events, and honestly, the most you get out of it is what um, special food, offerings, merchandise, a few photo ops,
Hmm.
maybe a cavalcade, a fireworks show, and then you get on the attractions.
Hmm.
And that's the the just a separate ticket event at Disney, which is $150.
Hmm. Well,
Oh,
180 something.
180, 80. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. You
started out
know,
at 150.
150. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it was 180 something
I'm
now.
like for 6 hours,
Hmm.
and that's all you get. So like so basically everyone's in line for the photo op. So essentially you don't get to do the photo op.
Hmm.
So what do you prioritize?
Hmm.
You go eat or you go to, but there's not many things to do that you and just end up going to ride rides.
Hmm.
So at the end of the day, what are you doing? Are you really experiencing the event? Not really.
Hmm.
Well, Mike, on the flip side, here on this event, all the experiences were wonderful. Like they were short lines, you got to do them multiple times. Every time you got a great experience out of it. And I felt like, oh, cool, this is like something different that I
Hmm.
can do. And by all means, like I honestly thought it was a way better than the many Disney events I've been to.
Well, like I went to Star Wars night the it wasn't last year, it was the year before that when Star Wars Celebration was in Anaheim. They gave me a pass to go to Star Wars night to experience it for the evening. And for me it was great because when I go to these special events, I like going as I did when I was in high school and college. You go to these special event nights to be able to not have to wait in line and go right on the rides.
Right.
And it was the same type of thing where you
Hmm
go, there's no real lines. You get on the rides because everybody is waiting in line. The longest line is for people who want to buy stuff
Absolutely.
and take pictures at the different cardboard pop-ups, which I was
Hmm
like, and there was nothing else there that was Star Wars related other than staying at Galaxy's Edge or riding Star Tours.
Well, yeah, and then like I guess over the years they've incorporated more character meet and greets, what have you, which I've seen online. But other than that, been a, there hasn't been anything else. Like I've been to Oogie Boogie. Oogie Boogie, you go through a queue, you'll see a character, you get candy.
Hmm.
You'll see the parade, and you'll see the fire. Not even fireworks. It's at Disney's California Adventure, so there's no fireworks.
Hmm.
Um, and that's it. Within the in 2 hours, you're done.
Hmm.
There's nothing to do.
Yeah.
Maybe ride a few attractions, but like DCA is limited to as many attractions that are open at that time.
Mm.
So like So you just paid this much money to do a few things.
Yeah.
Yet here, like we got in at 2, we paid for the early entry, so it was 20. So that allowed us to do a little of the day side of the park. So I got to do the the tram, do Jurassic Park, a few things
Hmm.
before the event actually started, and actually have a dinner before the event started. Still got to do a bunch of experiences, and I still left at midnight, and the thing was open till 2 in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I left at midnight that day as well because
Mhm.
I was hungry. We stopped and got food, which we're going to talk about next.
Yeah.
But like it was a great experience. Like I was there. There was something to do the whole night. It filled
Yes.
up that whole time. And that's something Disney needs. Like just you're spending on an enormous amount of money just to not have the ability to not have to wait in line.
Yeah.
Whereas with Universal Studios Fan Fest, lowest price you could get in is $74 depending on the day that you go. I had other media people who went to the Disney special event nights and said, I would rather come to this for $74 than to pay $185 for what I got for Star Wars night. And
Yeah.
that was from people like press who don't cover the theme park space on a normal basis.
Mm-hmm.
They go only for certain things and not everything. So to hear that was kind of shocking to me, especially for these people who are who will do who will love anything Disney does,
Well,
and they
I
want to
think
do.
it. Well, I mean, I think coming back to it, it's like they use the same formula and strategy they use for Horror Nights.
Mm-hmm,
It's the exact same formula. The only difference is the IP.
mm-hmm,
Instead of scaring you, they're gonna let you have fun and geek out. And for like those who don't really experience avoid going to horror nights if it's not their thing, this is a great thing because you could bring your kids if you wanted to. It's a little bit more family friendly. The ambiance is super positive. People are just laughing, having fun. I love that they had music going on. They had, I mean, when I tell you what the target they knew the target audience is when I was hearing like the live band play like Power Rangers theme song, and I was like, yep, you know who was here. But it
yeah.
was fun, you know.
And that band, the night I was there,
Mhm.
was the Flux Capacitors.
Yes,
Play at every Comic Con. Were they there for you as well?
yep, they were.
So I mean, if you're, it was just a fanboys or fangirls experience that I did not see anybody complain about this
No,
except for one thing, which we'll talk right now:
let's do it.
the food.
The food.
The food was one of the biggest problems and my only gripe about the night. And I've heard from other people as well who attended, and that's like the only thing that really was the problem was the food. The lines were extremely long.
Yep.
Certain restaurants like Toadstools, yeah, damn, I've been tongue tied all day. Toadstool Cafe and the restaurant inside Wizarding World of Harry Potter were reservation only.
Oh yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
The One Piece little overlay that they had was mostly all Mexican food because that's
Mm.
the cantina that's on property during the day,
Okay.
and that line was super long.
Okay, because I skipped. I went to. We tried. Actually, we went to Mel's.
Hmm.
Mel's had the Back to the Future theme of food, which actually had a shorter line. They were um out of a few things, but we did try like I think it was a patty melt or something with they had the flux capacitor stamped on the bun.
Hmm.
It was really good. I mean, it was good. And then we did go to Quirks and we were trying to get we bought the oh, if you didn't know, they actually had a dining pass. So
Yeah.
you could buy a whole pass so you could try different things. The problem with that is that they ran out of food.
Hmm.
So towards the end of the night, we had two main dishes. It was a snack, a main dish, and some drinks and what have you. We had like four tabs left because we didn't get a chance to use them because
Mhm,
everything was done.
mhm,
So I think in the future, I would like to see maybe more food options,
mhm,
just to spread things out. Even like stuff in the lower and the lower level,
mhm.
something there. Because even the stuff there at the there, I think I tried. It was a fondue,
Yeah,
and I'm sorry, and that was like a main course ticket, and I was like, that was not worth the main course ticket. That
yeah,
could have been a snack.
yeah. Well, like for me, we were shooting all day, getting footage. As you know, what we do at a theme park, we're really looking to try and get as much footage as we possibly can to put something together, which we're
Mm-hmm.
still working on to this day because we got a lot of footage.
Mm-hmm.
Tells you about how this experience is. So by the time we were done, it was already 10. Took our equipment back to the car, coming back in. It was already like around 10 o'clock, 10:30, and we started looking for food. We went to Mel's Diner. It was packed. We then went. First, we went to Toadstool Cafe because we wanted something better than what you normally get.
Right.
We were told there was you had to make a reservation in order to eat there. There were no reservations left for the night, so it was like, okay, let's go up to the upper level. We go to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. Same thing. Reservation wait order. Then we go to Mel's Diner, and the line was super long, and there was only one person taking orders.
That's fun.
And the line was really long. It was taking a long time to get your food. We walked out. We saw the One Piece restaurant that was long, so we finally wound up at Quarks,
Mm.
and we get there, and I was gonna get well, one the burger with the black bun kind of just looked nasty for me, and
Mm-hmm.
my personal preference. Whenever I see black buns, it's food coloring, and I don't even want to try it.
Mm.
But I did see this other thing that was kind of like a burrito, and asked them about that, and it was going to take 30. Oh no, we changed that because it had pork, and I was like, I don't feel like pork. So the corn dog that they had at Quarks,
Mm-hmm.
I ordered that.
Mm-hmm.
It was going to take 30 minutes for them to make that corn dog.
Are they gonna make it from scratch?
Well, even if they made it from scratch, it doesn't take 30 minutes. I've seen you go to hot dog and a stick, and it's not 30 minutes. Put it in the batter, put it in the oil, let it cook 5 minutes, out, roll it in the hot Cheeto sauce,
Uh-huh.
Cheeto stuff, put a little whatever the hell you're gonna put on it, and there you go. 30 minutes. Like when the person was telling me it was gonna take 30 minutes to get if I ordered the corn dog to get it, I was like, no, I'm not gonna wait 30 minutes. So I wound up getting the falafel and the hummus.
Mm-hmm.
They sprinkled this thing to make a Klingon symbol on your hummus.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Hummus was just splattered on the plate. The symbol didn't look like a Klingon symbol, and the falafels were like about that small. For two of us, because we had our intern there, she was helping do interviews and help me film. So of course I'm gonna pay for the intern because there's the intern for I mean
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
they don't have a lot of money to be able to just spend willy-nilly. Bought her dinner, her falafel and hummus, and I got the same thing, and it was $54.99 or $54 and change with the raspberry teas, the special raspberry teas that they had. Was it worth $54.99? Let's be honest. No. If it was $30, between 30 and $40, perfectly fine. But 54 seemed a little excessive. And
Yeah,
it
but
wasn't what I wanted. I wanted the corn dog. And I'm
I
not
feel
going to wait 30 minutes for a corn dog at a theme park.
true. I think that was probably that the again going back to I think that they didn't expect a big turnout, which to be fair, it didn't feel busy
Mm-mm.
because it was everything was so spread out, and I'm gonna say most people spent their time down in Hill Valley in the back lot.
Yes.
And that took forever in a day, so I could see why it didn't feel so busy. But yeah, the food went quickly, and I didn't even know that Three Broomsticks and Toasto Cafe were a reservation only, and also didn't even know that you had to make where to make the reservation.
Yeah.
So that
I
was
think too.
like I have to admit, like I think that was probably one of the things that like kind of they could have been better at communications because even though like I was writing the stories for this event on our Substack,
Mhm.
and I kept asking like, oh, so where do we get this and X, Y, and Z, and there was like no clear communication of what to expect.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, Now, as far as the merchandising, it was okay.
It was stuff that in my opinion, that you could have found at Hot Topic, at Target, any place that sells any type of fandom merchandise. You could, or even if you went down to Comic Con, you'll find the same thing.
Probably like wax lunch essentially, but I mean, there was like some of the Star Trek stuff was cool, like that the Picard wineries water bottle, which I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Um, a few sweatshirts. They had the Back to the Future. They had some Roosevelts. Um, the Harry Potter was the standard Harry Potter stuff. There was nothing new,
Mhm.
but I wish they would have been a little bit more. I don't know. It'd been cool to see more images about what to expect.
Yeah.
I think for me, um, I think the secrecy around it was what probably enticed people to go.
Mhm.
But also when you come out of it, you're like, okay, so what else are you gonna do for me?
Yeah.
I mean, this like I said, everything else was fun. The experiences were fun, everything is fun. I think the shortfall was in the food and the merchandising.
Mhm. Yeah.
I think they could have done a little bit more. I mean, but don't get me wrong, like if you compare it to other like Disney, it's the same. Like they don't do much.
Yeah. And the food isn't any better.
No, no, they're not.
For
No,
me, you just get it on time. It's you're
you
not
get
waiting for
actually
that.
have enough of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's different, or even like at Knott's for their Boysenberry Festival, or anything that they do there. It's the same thing. Like there's enough food where you're
Hmm.
not really running out. So that's the only thing that I had an issue with. That
Yeah.
everything else, it's everything that you pay to get into the park that you expect, you got, and more.
Yes. Hmm.
You got more than that $74 or $80 that you're gonna pay for a ticket and go in. You got that and more for Universal Fan Fest nights. The only downside that I saw was the food and merchandise. That's the only thing, and that's separate from what you're paying for your experience.
Right. Yep.
And that's where I think that's where they would need the biggest improvement in the future if they're planning to do this every year, which I hope they do.
Yeah. Absolutely, I agree.
Yeah. And that's pretty much it for this experience review. Uh, I have a feeling they used Universal Studios Hollywood, as I mentioned before. This is their test subject.
Hmm.
And now with Orlando having Islands of Adventure, the Universal Orlando Park, and now Epic Universe opening in 2 weeks,
Hmm.
that they're gonna do probably something like this in Orlando, a Universal Orlando theme park,
Yeah.
and do something like that over there. I have a feeling that this was just a test pilot for the other parks.
But also think about it this way because their horror nights go longer than ours.
Hmm.
So I don't know how they would like shimmy that in.
Hmm. Yeah.
So I don't know, like I could see this as a testing, like testing the waters to see how it goes, but I will say that maybe it'll be a year or so or two
Hmm.
before they take it out there.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so too, because I think they're seeing how once this thing ends next week,
Hmm.
on those two locations where they built experience in the sound rooms, see how long it takes for them to tear them down
Hmm.
and start working for Halloween Horror Nights mazes that are going to go in there.
Right.
And I think that's going to be the big question is how fast it could take everything down, and how long is it going to take for them to build it? because I wouldn't be surprised if they move up the start of Halloween Horror Nights here eventually.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, Universal Orlando's been doing it for years. They have a special VIP day that they sell for a premium to experience it with nobody, very limited tickets being sold. So I wouldn't be surprised if they one day have it here like that.
Yeah, I
But
wouldn't either, actually.
yeah, you could see this is a test, a pilot to see what it would do at somewhere else and at the other Universal parks. Uh, Epic Universe isn't going to have anything in there. I'm sorry to tell
Oh
everybody.
no.
Halloween Horror Nights and anything like that, it's going to be like Islands of Adventure. It's not going to be touched.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think so. And nor should they.
Yeah, exactly. They should not do anything with that park. They don't need to. They're already planning expansion with the expansion pads they already have ready, so they don't need to. But here, I think it's a perfect addition to what to be added throughout the year.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's also for this park because this park is the one that we kind of forget about.
Hmm. Yeah.
It's but again, this is the same thing we talk about like just the theme parks here in California, which are the ones that were the catalyst to the other theme parks, but don't get much attention.
Hmm. Yeah. It
So
isn't like Orlando with, especially with those theme park bloggers. It isn't like Orlando where they're
right.
everything. Over here, their main focus is just Disneyland.
Hmm. It's focusing mostly on Disneyland. They'll do a little bit of the other so-called theme parks, but not very much.
Mm-hmm.
But I could see this is honestly an opportunity for Universal Studios Hollywood to get ahead and also give. I mean, they're already doing better. They're gonna obliterate Walt Disney World
Mm-hmm.
come Epic Universe once it opens. I mean, come on. The last stateside theme park that opened was Disney California Adventure, and that was in what, 2001?
2001.
Yeah.
I was there for the grand opening. I was there with
But
nobody in it.
but look at the trajectory. Like it's been how many years, and then they just opened this beautiful park. At least what I've seen online, it looks gorgeous. I can't wait to experience it myself and to talk about how wonderful it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this is an opportunity for um, the Universal Hollywood to do something different that pushes them ahead of everybody else.
Yeah, and there's a lot of changes coming to Universal Studios Hollywood.
Hmm.
I mean, you're already seeing the Fast and Furious
Yep.
drift coaster.
Hollywood Drift.
Yeah, Hollywood Drift, the drift coaster. It's already track is done. You see it coming down the edge of the mountain. You see that they're doing something to expand the theme park and really build on the theme park. Uh, and my thing has always been, and nothing against Disneyland. I'm a big Disneyland fan. I own pieces of Disneyland memorabilia. But when you keep promising and promising and promising, and there's no shovels on the ground, and you
Hmm.
go to Universal Studios and you see shovels on the ground, excavators, track being laid out and built,
Hmm.
it shows you progress, and it warrants, and it makes people feel okay. It's
Hmm.
okay to pay 100 and something bucks or $200. There's a new ride or new experience every year
Yeah.
or every couple of years. When was the last truly built from the ground up ride at Disneyland?
Yeah.
Galaxy Edge,
Galaxy's Edge. Yeah.
Rise of Resistance, and Smuggler's.
Well, Mickey
Because
and Minnie's.
Mickey and Minnie's was built from the ground up, but it was a clone of what they had at Hollywood Studios and Disney World.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. Yeah. And it's
So,
and I've seen the trend I've seen in the theme parks, at least stateside, is that they're just copy and paste everywhere. Like,
mhm,
when are we gonna get to the point where we have a new original attraction
yeah.
where we can see it, where it's not, oh, this is the idea for this, but we already have it in the parks abroad. Let's bring it over, and they make it on this side and not as a grand scale.
Hmm.
I mean, perfect example. Um, what is it? Tron.
Hmm.
what's it called? Tron Light Cycle
Tron Light Cycle Run.
Run. Yeah, it's not that. It's a few minutes. It's not even not that long, but it took forever to build.
Mm-hmm.
While Universal was just like slamming it, like we're done with this. What's the next project? Let's get it done.
Yeah.
But there hasn't been anything like astonishing coming up, except for like the new Fast and Furious attraction coming to Universal Studios Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
That's are we? Do we need another Fast and Furious attraction? That's debatable.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's
But
definitely better than Supercharged.
yeah, it is, and
Oh.
like I'm interested to see what's going to replace that in the studio tour.
Mm-hmm. If they even have that a part of the studio tour.
Yeah, that's true.
I have feelings, in my opinion only. This is nothing that I've heard from anybody, but in the area where Fast and Furious Supercharged is, there's a lot of land that they could take out.
Yeah.
And they really don't even use that much other than parking production vehicles and things like that. I really haven't seen filming in that area in years, which that could easily become its own land and do something with it to build upon the theme park and keep the noise inside so it doesn't affect the houses in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Something tells me that's going to be something they're going to announce because they say they're going to announce it soon. And I know there's been something in the works with that backside for a while now. Different ideas, different progresses, different ideas, different things to progress that area.
And I'd love to see it because honestly, like if you're if you weren't a Disney person, because let's be honest, like growing up in LA, Disney is like it's hard to go to
Mm-hmm.
because it's just expensive.
Yeah.
So Universal and Knott's have been like the go-to for us, homegrown in Southern California. These are like our parks.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to see that. I mean, I remember when I was a kid going to Universal Studios, like the tram ride was always the best.
Mm-hmm.
Always look forward to the tram because it was just so interactive. And
Mm-hmm.
then any added, things to do right there was even adding, more to it. But I like to see what they're gonna do back there. I mean, I know that The Simpsons, their contract should be running out within a year or so. So who knows if that'll be replaced? We don't know. Uh, if they really wanted to go crazy, they could go through and take out that spot and take out Waterworld and add something back there. I mean, Simpsons was actually no Shrek.
Mm-hmm.
They could take out Shrek. Where was the Gibson? Is that
That's where the Harry Potter attraction is.
see that could also be extended
Mm-hmm.
and maybe possibly get Diagon Alley. Like you don't know.
Yeah.
There is possibilities out there, and you know I'm sure they're out there drawing up plans and creating massive ideas. But I mean, they have a large catalog of IP, so we'll see what happens.
And Universal is. It looks like Universal has NBC Comcast realizes that the Disney way,
Hmm.
their theme parks and travel is what keeps the company afloat.
Absolutely.
Where the movie production side on TV production side could fluctuate, but there's a consistent revenue stream within the travel and the parks and the destinations. And
Hmm.
I think Universal seeing that, and I think with Epic Universe, with what they're building in Frisco, Texas, and now what they're building and what they're going to open up on August 14th in Las Vegas with Universal Horrors Unleashed, I think you're going to start seeing things happen at Universal Studios Hollywood that
Hmm.
you've never seen before. I'm
Hmm.
hoping though that it keeps it to a point where people are still, it doesn't get overly exaggerated in the price,
Right.
because the one problem that Disney does have and Disneyland has is the fact that Disneyland used to be, it, it wasn't as expensive as it is now.
Right.
It was a locals park. It was never
Hmm.
meant to be a travel destination or a resort
Hmm.
where Walt Disney World was. So if the travel dies and travel issues to Disneyland there's a problem, or what they're forecasting that this summer is going to look like,
Mhm.
it hurts Disneyland more than it would hurt Walt Disney World
It's true.
because they priced out a lot of the locals, even on the annual passes. Like I tell people, when I first had my first annual pass, it was $99 in 1992.
And now it's almost
$1,500. It's almost the price of season tickets for a season ticket for an Angel game,
yeah.
for an Angel season. So it's not. It's
Mhm.
expensive. That's why I think Universal's doing a great job with FanFest, making it affordable, good experiences, be able to go to the park at night, which, because Universal Studios, as many people know, a majority of the year it's not open at night. It closes
Right.
at 4 or around 6 o'clock. Here it's open till 2 a.m. The only time before, at one point, it was only open that late during Halloween Horror Nights.
Hmm.
Now, during the summer, it's open late at night, and they have the tram tour at night. And this is another experience to visit the park at night,
Hmm.
which doesn't happen that often. And for like I can't mention enough, starting at $74, you can't beat it.
You can't at all. Absolutely not.
And it was a fun time. You're gonna have a really good time going. So as we wrap it up, and we're putting everything. Oh, and before we wrap it up, another thing I think theme park fans, especially Disney fans, are going to be a little
Hmm.
hurt about is today's announcement that they're going to build a Disney park in Abu Dhabi,
Yeah.
which we already knew that was going to happen.
Did we though?
Yeah, because they've been talking about that for almost a decade now. Ever since I finished, there were ideas floating around of a park in that region. Especially since SeaWorld opened up, they're building a Six Flags theme park there. And I think when they started building that Six Flags theme park there, talk started moving faster.
Mhm.
And if they do the same thing like with DCA when it opened, and Tokyo Disney Seas opened up at the same year, and they never showed to the United States consumer what Tokyo Disney Sea looked like to what was actually given to us at Disney's California Adventure.
Mhm.
And with nothing opening up or no plans of an additional theme park for Universal, I mean, Universal has plans. Disneyland has not showed a plan. That may be an issue for them as a company in the future, because you got to constantly be putting new things. As Walt Disney said, Disneyland will never be complete as long as there's no imagination left in the world.
I foresee this being a big announcement. D23, was that coming up next year?
Next year.
Yeah, next year that's going to be more in depth. Right now, we're kind of standing by, see what happens because there hasn't really been any shovels in the ground.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And that's why, going back to Universal Fan Fest, you're seeing them do something.
Mm-hmm.
You're seeing them trying to create new experiences, new things that are ticketed, that are affordable for families to go to enjoy an evening in a very expensive world that we're coming into. Universal kind of has this experience, and they're doing a really good job at it, and I can't knock them for it. The
Right.
food is a problem, but
But that could be fixed.
that could be fixed. The merchandise issue, that could be fixed. The
Mm-hmm.
experiences for a first year event was top notch, and I have to give it an A plus. And they did an amazing job. It was a great,
Absolutely.
and I'm telling everybody on who's watching this live stream, or will see it later as it goes up and it's on the recorded version. Don't miss it. Get there this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Next weekend's the last weekend. Get your tickets and experience it, because this is something special. And you could say you were the first to go to this event, because I could see this being like another Halloween Horror Nights. And it'll
Yep.
be something new every year, and it gets bigger and bigger, better and better. Claudia, what are your thoughts as we close?
Honestly, I have to agree. It was a great experience. If you get an opportunity to do it before it ends, definitely do it. Take your time, in each experience, especially in the back lot. Um, really like take time to soak it in. Um, I would also advise you to eat
Yes.
before it gets to before it's gone, but
Mhm.
take your time, take it in, and remember, have fun. I mean, it's one of the few times you get to walk around the back lot, so enjoy it. So definitely A plus.
Uh-huh. And even for me, who we've shot a lot of footage to put things, take a look at the footage when it comes out. But
Yep.
you have to go experience it. Seeing it on a screen on your television doesn't do it justice. It's a great way to see what to expect and how to prepare, but to be feet on the ground and experience it, you will love it for a lifetime. You'll be memories with your family and friends that you will have for a lifetime. So definitely go check it out. Claudia, thank you so much for stopping with us again. You're pretty much the theme park expert because you're at a theme park working there for a lot longer than I did. I only did a summer at Universal at Jurassic Park. So you hold the cake on that one.
I'm the theme park person. All right.
But everybody, thank you so much for watching this. Tickets to Universal Studios Fan Fest
Tempest.
can be bought at universalstudioshollywood.com. Get your tickets there. If they ask you where'd you hear about it, don't forget to tell them MUSE TV and Destination on MUSE TV, etc. They know that we're selling tickets for them and that we could get invited back and back and back to do more things with them. Because we're definitely not going to Disneyland for the 70th, but I'm not bitter.
I'll
But
feel the next day. The next day.
yeah, exactly. Anyway, from what I'm hearing and when I'm looking at the schedule, the Walt Disney animatronic isn't going to be there yet.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's what I want to see. So if there's no Walt Disney animatronic, what's the point of going? It's for the media day.
Right.
But yes, but have a good weekend. We'll be doing a lot more live streams as we get closer to this. And don't forget MUSE TVX launches this Friday. Check it out. We'll be announcing pricing on that. Actually, pricing has already been announced. $5 is a monthly fee starting for it. You'll be able to have special member-only live streams, special only members only content. We are going to put a retrospective of Van's Warp Tour on the paid service. So you're going to be able to see all our interviews from all the Warp Tours that we did leading up to the Warp Tour in DC in June, Long Beach in July, and November in Orlando. So we'll see you next time. I'm Mike Sandoval. This is Claudia Amezcua. And we'll see you next time here on Destination on MUSE TV.
Bye, guys.